Hey everyone, TheBarracuda57 here. This video will be probably my most important video out of everything I've ever done. I've written about 3 pages of sentences and words which I'm going to say in a formula, say in a way where it makes sense to you logically and abstract-wise. And I'll be talking about the secret truth of INFJs, the essence of INFJ, what it really is, and I'll also be talking about why we're rare and why we think the way we do. Again, I will talk about what our biggest secret is at the very end of this video. But during this video, I'll be talking about stereotypes, assumptions towards the INFJ, labels, because everyone labels INFJ all the time in so many ways you don't understand. I'll give examples and scenarios of this, both online and offline, and give you a sense of who we really are, and not just a presented image. Because so many people just look at the INFJ and put us on a pedestal and say, this is amazing, this is perfect, this is great, this is everything which is good about a human being. And people just idealize us and kind of make us like mystic and really cool and amazing, and actually it just, you know, makes people kind of want to become that thing, something that they're not. So, you know, I'll be explaining that a lot more. And I'll be saying it in a way where I'm not pointing fingers, but just opening eyes. Because so many people all the time just, the label is everything to them. And seeing as we live in a world where people judge you by not what your essence is, but by how you look. This could be in type, this can be in face, this can be anything. I mean, look at Facebook. We live in a society where everyone's so ego-orientated and so showy and kind of like, me, I want to be special, I'm rare, and because of this I want to attach myself to a type which I might not actually belong to, but who cares, because I want to be amazing and rare and I want to look cool. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll say it in a logical way and a fair way which is balanced to both sides, so I'm not just pointing fingers. I'm opening your eyes to what we really are. Thank you. The common assumptions of the INFJ and the stereotypes and the kind of perceived vision of the INFJ are mystics, monks, wise men, teachers, prophets, protectors, and even psychics. Now, because of these images, people think that we're all these things. To a degree we are, but I mean, in some cases it's just, you know, idealistic crap, to be honest. And it's people overthinking and being like, whoa, they're psychic, whoa, they can do these things, whoa, they're rare, and because of all these things, it's really cool and really special, and I want to mold myself and I want to be like that. And I'll explain further what I mean, because that in itself isn't enough of an explanation, because it just looks like I'm pointing fingers. So I'll explain myself there, because I'm aware of how I'm coming across to you. Many people who take the Myers-Briggs test often take it once, and I've said this many times. I know not everyone does this, and I know I'm being critical, but hear me out. People often, take the test once and get INFJ. That's fair enough. But because of that, they think, oh, that's it, it's like a horoscope, I'm not going to take any more. And because of this, they might be another type, and they might have just got a result that doesn't belong to them straight off the bat. If you do it many times, you know, and let's say, for example, you got INFJ, and then you got INTJ 4 times after that, there's a high chance you're an INTJ. It's logic, guys, it's common sense. You just don't go off, you don't roll a dice, get a 6 and be like, every time I roll this dice I must get a 6. It doesn't work like that. Also, people who have personality disorders and take the test sometimes get INFJ. Now, if you have a personality disorder, this can really skew the results. I'm not saying you're mistyped, but I'm saying in many cases it doesn't help, and I'm not saying that's your fault, but I'm saying, you know, personality disorders make it more difficult, so be aware of that. Another thing is, people always try and mold themselves. People test as one type maybe about 5 times, and they see a type that they like or a type which they're attracted to and they want to belong to, and because of that they think that they can mold yourself. The type isn't who you are. You are you at the end of the day, and you can't mold yourself into something that isn't you. Just be yourself, just be natural. And I've just met so many people who've come to me and been like, can you mold your types? Can you change your type? You can't change your type. You are who you are. You're the essence of how you've been brought up, you're the essence of your experiences, and you're the essence of how you think. You can't change who you are at the end of the day, and so many people aren't happy with who they are, and they want to be an idealistic version, and they want to be perfect, and they want to be cool and amazing and rare and special. And because of this, they try and change to something that they're not. Whether it's type, whether it's following an idol, whether it's trying to be cool and follow the latest mainstream person, it's just all these things. Just be happy with who you are. Type's got nothing to do with anything. And so many people are mistyped also. Now, so many people complain about this in the forums, so I'm not going to talk about it that much because we've all heard all this crap before. But I'll give examples of what I mean by mistypes. You've got people who take Socionics. Now, the Socionics test came after MBTI, Myers-Briggs. It was formulated in a way where it's kind of like testing you on how you visually come off rather than your essence and your being and your thought process, which is very biased, but then again, it's up to you whether you believe it's accurate or not. Many people take the Socionics test before Myers-Briggs. They get INFJ Socionics. And a lot of people think that if I have INFJ Socionics, it's the same as INFJ as MBTI. INFJ Socionics is INFP in MBTI. They're not the same. And that's why I think so many people get mistyped as INFPs. Because someone takes the Socionics test, they get INFJ, and then they go to MBTI and they're like, well, I got INFJ in Socionics, that must mean I'm INFJ in MBTI. It doesn't work like that. That's partly because people don't research and don't read about it and don't educate themselves about it. And because of this, there's so many mistypes. Again, it's going back to what I said of people just take the test once, they don't learn about it, they don't learn about the cognitive functions, they don't learn in depth about who they are and the system of testing, and because of that they're mistyped, because they're just, they don't learn about it. So, again, that's just common sense. And yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, if you tested INFJ Socionics, you're not an INFJ MBTI, you're an INFP. Now, don't say that I'm just making that up. There's so many articles on it. So, guys, just, use your noggins, use your brains, and just, read up on it. Another thing is the Enneagram. Now, I've come across and I've talked to many INFJ Enneagram Type 4s. And in many cases, they're not INFJ. And I'm not saying all INFJ Enneagram Type 4s are mistyped. Because I've met many who aren't. And I've spoken to them personally, even through webcams, to know that this isn't right for me to say that. But in many cases, INFJ Enneagram Type 4s just, are ISFJs. Now, I'll explain this further because, obviously, I've just gone and said that and I have to explain myself. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I'll explain that later in the video. But, again, if you're an INFJ Enneagram Type 4, be aware that you could be an ISFJ. And I'll explain this later on in this video. Another thing which people do commonly when they take Myers-Briggs and they get INFJ, or get any result for any MBTI, is, I'm weird, I'm different, I'm strange, I'm unique, I'm special, and because of these things, I must find a type which is like all these things. Oh, INFJ, it's the most misunderstood type, and it makes up between 1% and 3% of the world population. That must be me. Even though I've tested as something else and I could be something else, I'm just going to straight away go, oh, okay, I'm going for that. You guys do know that you could be weird, different, strange, individual, special, and be a different type? Oh, okay, of course not, because everyone wants to be rare and special and, unique, and because of these things they want to attach themselves to a type which is all these things. People would much rather lie to themselves and give off a kind of visual, a kind of image in their head of what they are, even though the reality of how they think and function and interact and their body language is just completely wrong. Again, it's just people, you know, using INFJ as a label. Now, okay, well, in the next part of this video, I'll explain more about labels. And I've got so much written down on this piece of paper about labels. Because to a lot of people, label is everything. So like, it's with Facebook, it's in real life, it's how you present yourself, it's kind of like how you're projected. And all those things aren't really who you are. Deep down, you are who you are. And I'll explain this further in the next part of this video. Because if no one does it, then no one will wake up. Now, everyone all the time labels themselves. Be it, you know, in real life, online, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Socionics, you know, bands they like, Believers, you know, people who follow Bieber, all these things. They're using labels to kind of describe who they are. It's something which we've all done in any aspect of being a human being. It's all just ego, and it's all just labeling. I'll explain that. Myers-Briggs, INFJ, is typically 1% to 3% of the world population. Now that is a lot of people. Now 1% of 7 billion people makes up 100,000 people. And if you believe that maybe it's more than that and it's 2%, then times that by 2. If you think it's 3% of the world population, because INFJ is between 1% to 3% of the world population, then times 100,000 by 3. You know, that's a lot of people. And yes, we're rare, and there's not a lot of us, and, you know, all these things. There are still a lot of people in the world who are like this. Now again, I know that everyone's different, everyone's been brought up differently, everyone's unique, everyone's individual. But at the end of the day, INFJs have an essence, an aura, an energy, a kind of spirit, a kind of presence, which confirms who they are. And I'm not pointing fingers because I know I'm coming off that way. But I'll explain it further on. Basically, you are not your label. You are who you are at the end of the day. Before I took Myers-Briggs, I was me. I took Myers-Briggs, I'm still me. The label doesn't define who I am. If I found out, you know, I wasn't the right type, I wouldn't mind. It wouldn't matter to me in the slightest. I'd go and learn more about that type, research about that type, interact with people who are similar to me, and I wouldn't let it go to my head. And I've met so many people who want to be INFJ so badly because it's such an ideal, it's such an image and a visual that's kind of amazing, perfect, spiritual, mystic, psychic, all these things. And it's crap. And so many people, and I quote this is an actual quote, I would kill myself if I wasn't an INFJ. I wouldn't kill myself if I wasn't an INFJ. I'd make videos on that type that I was. I make videos on INFJ because I connect with it, and because, you know, it's who I am. And I don't need to explain myself on that, but what I'm saying is the label itself is just, people would rather stick to a label that might not be who they are than actually be true to who they are. And I've met so many people who are like, come to me, and they're like, can you mold your type and be something else? No, you can't. And others who are like, I've tested 4 times as INTJ, and I tested once as INFJ, but I think I'm an INFJ, therefore I'm going to say I'm INFJ. It doesn't work like that. Again, it's like the label, the image, the ideal of what an INFJ is so kind of like, you know, seductive, that people want to be it, even though that's not who they are. And there are aspects which people can connect with the INFJ, because, you know, INFJs have similar functions to other types, so other types can think, oh, because I think this way in the same as INFJ, I must be an INFJ. No, that's not right. That's just one part of your functions which we share, that's it. It doesn't mean you're all exactly the same. And it's just, oh, it's crazy. People who have depression, people who have bad vibes, anxiety, personality disorder, or is just unconfident in themselves, loves to use INFJ. And I know they could use any type, but I'm saying this because INFJ is rare and is unique and is special, and there's all these things which people say all the time. And it's like, oh, you know, if I wasn't an INFJ, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. Well, you managed to live with yourself before you found out you're an INFJ, yet you've kind of, you know, put yourself into a box and you think, oh, this is everything that I am, therefore I'm restricted and I can't be myself anymore. And if I was another type, then that would completely destroy me. It would only destroy you because you don't have any confidence in yourself and you're just hiding behind type. You were who you were before you found type, and I've said that before, and I'm not going to say that again, but it's just so many unconfident people, or people who want to be cool. It's a bit like this. Think about it like this. You're at a playground. You're not very cool. You're very weird, different, strange, and isolated. And you see all the cool kids wearing shades and sunglasses. These sunglasses are INFJ sunglasses. They're a special make, they're a special brand. Now, they're all like together and they're all having fun, and you want to be like them. Therefore, you buy glasses which are the exact same. You buy the special INFJ glasses. Therefore, I must be an INFJ. Again, it's just using a label. It's just using an image and a presentation. Again, you're always going to be who you are. You're not going to kind of connect with that person or those people just because you have those glasses. You're going to connect with people who you connect with. You're not going to connect with people if you're going to lie to yourself and present yourself in a way which isn't you, just because you want people to praise you and to ego trip you and to be like, oh, you're special, you're rare, you're amazing, just to feed your ego. It's ridiculous. Again, many mistypes, like I've said before. INFPs, INFJs, there are a lot of mistypes there. There are a lot of mistypes with INFJ Socionics, because a lot of people think that being an INFJ in Socionics is the same as INFJ MBTI, but it's not, it's INFP. People don't learn the cognitive functions, therefore they don't understand it. Learn the cognitive functions, guys, it's not difficult. And again, INFJ Enneagram Type 4. Now, I've seen many people who are Enneagram Type 4s, and it's so obvious that they don't think the way that we do. I'll give a really good example of a mistyped ISFJ who is an INFJ Enneagram Type 4 comes off like this. I'm an INFJ and I'm always right and my opinion's always right, and I don't understand why people don't listen to me, because I don't like listening to other INFJs because I think they're stupid and I'm always right, and because of that, you know, people should listen to me and not them because I'm better than them. And I can't see the bigger perspective of things because I can only see my perspective because I'm present orientated, and because of those things, you know, I'm really showy and I think I'm the best, and all INFJ Enneagram Type 4s are the best. You know, it's just, it's bragging, and it's so kind of censorish because they're in the present and they're always thinking about the present and they're just thinking of themselves. INFJs don't think about themselves. They're people orientated, they're empathetic, they're aware of the environment and the people that they're with, to the extent that the people that they're with are more important, and how they feel, you know, is important to us. And you get so many people online who are just like, oh, I'm special, I'm rare, I'm amazing because I'm an INFJ, and I don't think you're an INFJ, but I'm going to prove to you that I'm an INFJ. It's so image orientated. We don't think like that. And yet there's so many people who are kind of so showy, ego orientated, and they don't think about the bigger picture. It's always kind of like me, promotion, and all these things. People just want to be special and rare, and again, I've said all these things because they don't have any confidence in themselves, so they'd rather hide behind a type or a figure just to kind of make themselves feel better about how crappy their lives are. Do you know what I mean? Again, you create your reality, so if you think your life is crap, that's only because you believe it's crap. You can believe it's good, you can believe it's, you know, positive. You create your own reality, and if you're just, you know, putting yourself in a box, that's what you're going to do, because a lot of people have done that with INFJ anyway, and they think that their type is everything that they are. What really annoys me is a lot of people always have to feel like they have to prove that they're INFJs. Just be yourself. I mean, if you're natural and you just speak your mind and you do what you've always done, you know, people connect with you or they won't connect with you. And it's just, again, it's people just want to be unique and rare and special, and they'd rather live a lie than accept the harsh truth, and it's just, it's not natural whatsoever. And you get INFJs who are like, oh, I hate my parents and I hate my family and I wish they were dead. And also other INFJs who are like, other INFJs are boring and I hate other INFJs and I don't like listening to other INFJ videos and I don't like learning about INFJ because I think it's stupid and, you know, I don't think I'd learn anything from them and, you know, I'm right all the time. You know, it's just, it's so unhealthy, it's so childish. Since when has an old soul been childish? Like, when, how can an old soul be childish? Oh, yeah, that proves my point, doesn't it? I mean, again, it's so ego, it's so small talk, and there's so many more important things, but people are so stuck in the cycle of being rare, being special, that all the forums do all the time is have people ego tripping and being like, can I mold myself? Can I be an INFJ? I'm an INFJ, I don't think you're an INFJ, and it's just people pointing fingers at themselves or at other people rather than talking about more important things. I mean, INFJs see both sides to things, which is why I don't understand how so many people who think that INFJ are like, well, you know, I don't agree with what you're saying, therefore you're wrong. And you see this in videos, you see this in posts. INFJs see both sides of the coin. I mean, we even agree with our enemies to the extent that we understand their perspective, but at the same time be like, I get what you're saying, but, you know, I don't agree with what you're saying. Yet so many people who are INFJs are like, no, I don't get what you're saying, you're wrong, I'm right. Yeah, you know, all these things. In so many ways that just proves, you know, against an INFJ and against the essence and being and thought and process of what we do and how we think. Again, INFJs love balance, they love people, they love empathy, they love nature, they love connections, they love spiritual sides of things, they love energy, they love, you know, thinking and helping people and thinking about both sides of things and deep topics, philosophical topics, poetry, arts, all these things. And it's just, you never see them on the forums because people are so into just talking about how rare they are and how special they are. It's pathetic, it really is. A lot of people who have social anxiety also make videos or posts and say, I have social anxiety, but because I have this, that must mean everyone else and all the other INFJs have this. Again, you are who you are at the end of the day. Not everyone is exactly the same as you. And it's also other things like, there was another INFJ the other day on the forums, and it was like, I love ESTPs. And I mean, it makes sense because it's obvious that all INFJs love ESTPs because of this. And I said to them, you do know that, you know, we can connect with who we want to connect with. You're straight away just assuming, oh, because I love an ISTP, all other INFJs must do the same thing. Again, you're putting type into a box and you're just using type as an excuse and you're stereotyping and assuming what we are because, again, people just stereotype and label everything. And you get posts in the forums which are like, oh, INFJs are special and rare, and you get really stupid ones like, do INFJs eat? Do INFJs drink water? Do INFJs watch TV? I know I'm being critical and I know I'm blowing it out of proportion and exaggerating, but you know, you get so many people who talk to us well like we're not human beings. We're human beings. And it's just, again, it's because people have put us on a pedestal. Rare. Being rare is a concept. Think about it like this. There's a man who's really ugly, really old, really smelly, no one likes him, and no one listens to him. If somehow he ended up being the last man on the planet, in the world, on Earth, and all the rest were females, girls, women, he would be the most prized person because he is rare, there's not a lot of him, and he's been put on a pedestal. He was ugly, he was smelly, he was old, he was all these things, but who cares? Because he's rare, he's now amazing, he's now perfect, he's now special, and everyone wants him. Everyone wants to be like him. Do you know what I mean? It again goes back to what I've been trying to say this entire video. And you get insecure people, or people who don't have any self-confidence, people who are shut-ins, people who are very sensitive, and I'm not saying that, you know, all people who are like this aren't INFJs, but I'm saying some people use, again, INFJ as a label. And they'd rather hide behind the label, like I've said, than accept who they are. And they live in a dream world, and they use INFJ as a kind of presented ideal image of who they are in their heads, and actually in reality, they might be ridiculously logical, they might be, you know, a perceiver and think about lots of different things all at once but can't decide what to choose. They might not even be intuitive, and it's all these things. You can have an idea of what you are in your head, and you could try and mould yourself into something that you're not, but at the end of the day, you're going to be who you are. I mean, I know I'm being critical, I know I'm being direct, I know I'm being judgmental, but I'm aware I'm doing that. Again, it's because I can see both sides of things. I know I'm coming off as a direct person, someone who's pointing fingers, but that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm opening your eyes. I'm doing this to show you that this is not what we do and this is not who we are. And I'm fed up of seeing it everywhere all the time, and it's just a non-stop flow with no resistance. I mean, a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm different, I'm weird, I'm an oddball, I'm strange. You do know that you could be another type and still strange and oddball, weird, unique, special, really sensitive. You do know that, right? Of course you don't, because again, you're just assuming that you're something that you're not. Again, I'm not saying everyone does this, and I'm not saying everyone's a mistype. I'm saying there are people who do that, and there's a lot of people who do that. And again, people who say, if I wasn't an INFJ, I'd rather be dead. It just goes to show how much you rely on a label. It just goes to show how much you rely on a type. Because you'd rather be something that you're not, or you'd rather be an INFJ and die, you know. If you're another type, you know, you'd feel you lose all your identity because you're another type. It doesn't matter what type you are. I could be another type and I'd still make videos on it. I wouldn't care. If anything, if I found out I wasn't INFJ and I was another type, I'd be happy, because I mean, I found a type that I connect with. I'm finally happy with who I am, but it's because people would rather be the 1%, the 3%, than actually finding who they are and connecting with people who are the same as them. Again, type is everything to them, and we live in a world where people just use labels all the time. And we can't keep doing that if we want the world to progress. Now, I have a group, and I interact with lots of INFJs on a daily basis, whether it's through private messaging, comments, threads, or, you know, Skype, or Google Hangout. And you know, you get a feel for what the INFJ is. Their body language, the way we process, the energy, the being, the spirit, and the kind of presence an INFJ has. I've spoken to a lot of people who I believe are the same as me, because I connect with them in so many ways, unconsciously. And there have been so many other people I don't connect with, and I stray away, it just feels different. The energy, the projected spirit, the projected essence of that person is so different to me. And even if an INFJ is depressed, sad, unhealthy, I've talked to many INFJs who are all these things, but they still have a kind of resonant energy, a kind of resonating frequency that I connect with. And I know it sounds biased, and I'm aware it sounds biased to someone who's logical, for example, but again, NFs don't think in logic. We think of how we feel, and we think about the energy and the kind of feeling we get. And it's just, you see so many people who don't connect with the essence of INFJ, and it's just, when you watch them or when you interact with them, it just feels wrong, and straight away it's just like something is really strange here. The way they speak is really logical. The way that their body language is really rigid, it's really acute, it's really kind of like extroverted, and it's just, the energy is so different, and the way they think and the way they process is very different. Now, let me give you an insight into what chameleons do, We can read other people's energies to the extent where I can show you the types of people which are so not us, and I just don't connect with them. So many of my friends just don't connect with them because the energy is wrong, the essence is wrong, the spirit's wrong, and it's all just ego, and it's all just I'm amazing, I'm special, I'm superior, I'm 1%, therefore I'm better than you type of mentality. Essence number 1. Yeah, I'm an INFJ, and like I'm so cool, and you guys like don't even know how cool I am, and swag, YOLO, and you know, just like I'm so complex and deep, like you don't even understand. And then you get another essence, which is really common, is I'm an INFJ, and I think I'm an INFJ, but I'm not sure, but I'm really sensitive, and I feel things really deeply, but I think I'm an INFJ. I've tested 2 times as it, but I've also tested 2 times as being perceiving, but I'm not sure. And another one, and the final one, which is really common, I'm an INFJ, and I don't listen to other INFJs, and I don't understand why other people listen to them, because I'm right, and I hate their opinions, and I don't listen to their opinions, and why should I learn about INFJs from other INFJs? That just doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm amazing, and everyone should bow down to me because I'm king and queen. Again, nothing about that is who we are. All of that is just people wanting to be superior, people wanting to be better than everyone else because INFJ is the 1% and all these things. And people are just ego tripping off it because they have no confidence, or they're just using it as a kind of, oh, this is me because I'm really vain, I'm really ego orientated, and I think I'm the perfection of humanity, and therefore because of that I'm going to present myself as this type. And therefore go on the forums and be like, I'm perfect, I'm amazing, and I'm better than everyone else, and then all the other INFJs are like, who is this guy? Do you know what I mean? It's all body language, it's all being, it's all essence, it's all energy, and if we don't connect with it, or something feels wrong, something feels fake, something doesn't feel natural, and something feels forced, questions are raised. Now, again, I'm being critical, I'm being rare. But I know many people will look at this and be like, oh, you know, he's wrong, I don't agree with him. I know, you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm opening your eyes. Whether you accept it or not is up to you. But what's funny is that people who consider themselves as INFJs will look at this video, listen to everything I've said and be like, no, I don't listen to it, that's stupid, I don't understand, and he's wrong, therefore I'm right. When actually an INFJ would be like, yeah, I get a lot of what he's trying to say, and even though I don't understand it, and parts of it I don't agree with, you know, I get what he's trying to say and trying to bring across to us, which is, you know, fair enough, but I'm not going to agree with it. Nothing said, nothing needs to be said there. And again, following on from essence, again, people stereotype and idealize the INFJ and present it as the image of perfection to humanity for some stupid reason. And I had a massive debate with someone on the forums the other day, with another INFJ, and this person believed that anyone who was a bad person couldn't be an INFJ. Now that doesn't make sense logically, and that doesn't make sense in an abstract way. That's just, again, people living in a bubble, people living in a dream world and thinking INFJ is perfect, INFJ is amazing. I listed to them all the INFJs considered the famous INFJs. I said Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Plato, Mandela. And then I said the unhealthy ones. Again, guys, if you don't know any of these, you know, again, please research them and learn a bit more about, you know, what the INFJ is. Unhealthy INFJs: Stalin, Osama bin Laden, Hitler, Mugabe, and Chiang Kai-shek. But apparently this person's like, no, none of those could be INFJ, that's stupid, that's wrong. Again, why is it wrong? Why is it stupid? It's people think an INFJ is perfect, an INFJ is perfection, is superior, is everything, and nothing can be wrong with the INFJ. That's stupid, that's childish, that's dream talk, that's not realistic. Oh, it's just, again, it's people just idealizing the label. and it just annoys me because it's just so apparently INFJs can't be bad, and that's stupid, because anyone can be a good person and go to the dark side. Anyone. But there are some people out there who live in a bubble, who live at home, who stay by themselves, who don't go out much, and they think, oh, I'm amazing and there's nothing wrong with me and I'm perfect and I do everything right and I'm good. Hitler thought he was doing everything that was good. He thought he was doing justice, and he thought he was ridding the world of the Jews, and he killed all those Jews because he believed what he was doing was right. Again, you can think you're doing something right, you can think you're doing something good, but actually in reality, if you're not aware of what you're doing, or if you're so in your head and you're not realistic, and don't take a step back and go, actually this is wrong. Basically what I'm trying to say is, again, we're not perfect, we're not psychic, and we're not amazing and good all the time. We're human beings, yet people idealize us as gods, and then to the extent people want to become us. We're human beings, guys. Just because we're 1% doesn't mean anything. That's the thing. If INFJ was roughly the same amount as everyone else, if all the types across Myers-Briggs were exactly the same percentage, no one would question the INFJ. The INFJ is only sought out and looked at because there's less of them. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just a number. It's ridiculous. And again, if you're someone who thinks that there is no such thing as bad people being an INFJ, wake up. Stop being a child. Stop living in a dream world. And it's just, be realistic. I mean, yes, we're dreamers to the extent that we're idealistic and we daydream a lot, but we're realistic. That doesn't make sense in any sense of it. Thinking that INFJs are always good. No, they're not. Anyone can be bad. Anyone. Even you. Someone who thinks that they're perfect and better than everyone else. Again, this just goes back to back up what I said about people would rather accept a subtle lie than the harsh reality. And label all the time, because this is just what human beings do all the time, because it's all promotion and all these things. But yes, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're entitled to listen to me or not listen to me. It's up to you. But the very fact that I can say that and be like, I don't mind what you think, rather than someone who's like, listen to me, or if you don't listen to me, you're wrong, kind of person. And the thing is, on the forums all the time, whether you're unhealthy, mistyped, the right type, or still learning about Myers-Briggs, INFJ, you'll see a lot of crap, a lot of small talk, a lot of people asking questions for the INFJ, common questions which you'd ask any human being. And what do we really like, guys? We really like deep topics. We like philosophy, we like arts, we like nature, we like connecting with people, we like empathizing with people. We have feelings, we like to protect people, look after people, be aware of people. We're so people-orientated that people come before us. Yet you see so many people who are like, I'm amazing, I'm better than everyone else, and yes, I've said that many times. We learn with repetition, and I've repeated myself enough because I feel it's right to do that. Because I have a purpose of why I'm saying this. I'm not pointing fingers. To an extent I am, but I'm waking you up. The whole reason I'm being direct and being judgmental is because I'm doing it for a purpose. To wake you up to what the essence is and to what the truth is. And again, so many people use it as an image. Looks are more important than spirit in our society. Most people would rather marry a beautiful wife than a wife that was good inside. And you can relate that back to types. And a lot of people would rather be mistyped and the wrong type than accept who they really are. Because if they were anything else but INFJ, they couldn't live with themselves. And I think that's a poor excuse to hide behind a type. You could say that with clothes. I mean, yeah, oh, I need to wear sunglasses because all my friends are wearing sunglasses. So what? Just be yourself. If you feel it's right to wear sunglasses, do it. But don't wear it just to be cool, just to be different, just to be special. If you've waited this long, if you've laughed, if you've cried, if you've smiled, if you've been annoyed by anything I said, I've done something good. The whole purpose of this video was to open your eyes, to wake you up. Whether you agree with me or not is completely up to you. But the very fact that I can say that goes to show that I can see both sides of what I'm doing. Rather than be someone who's like, if you agree with me, then that's good, but if you don't agree with me, piss off kind of thing. You know, believe what you want, it's up to you. But yeah, our biggest secret, guys, is we're human beings. We're human beings just like you. And the thing is, we strive for peace, we strive for justice, we strive for balance, we strive for good. We strive about helping other people to the extent that we help others more than we help ourselves. And we analyse people all the time, but we don't use that against them. We reserve our judgments, but we're aware of people and we help them and make them think differently and improve on themselves. We want to improve ourselves, we want to improve the world, and yet there's so many people out there on the forums who are not who we are. And I'm not, you know, they could be fakes, they could be mistypes, they could be confused, or they could be unhealthy. You choose which one that is. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're not better than everyone else, we're not superior, and just because we're the 1%, that doesn't mean anything. We could be 99%, it's just a number. At the end of the day, what you do is what matters. And again, illusion is the biggest separation in the world. A lot of people think that they're detached, weird, different, strange, and don't connect with anyone. That's fair enough. But at the end of the day, look at the forums. If you find people you connect with, that's good. But don't live at home, don't stay indoors all the time, and don't live in a bubble all the time. Now you've found people that you connect with, go out there and interact with people. And don't be one of these people who stays indoors, isolated and alone and detached and never goes out, and then wonders why he's depressed or she's depressed. Just guys, just wake up. Now, thank you everyone for watching. I know it's been intense, a lot of emotions have been brought out. Again, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm waking you up. This is TheBarracuda57, over and out. Now I'm going to count down to 3, and when I snap my fingers, you will wake up. Okay? 3, 2, 1.